how do we react to this? And we're doing a couple things, and they are as follows. First of all, we're pursuing at the state level with myself, Senator Sweeney and Fisher, an alternative tax option for municipalities to host this kind of industry. We don't have a commitment from the governor yet of what this thing is going to look like in the end, but that is a pursuit that's going to be followed through in this fall as part of our legislative priorities. That's one thing. The second thing is that we have to look at this local government. You saw all the numbers, and we have to see what we can do differently to save money, but at the same time not cut down the essential services. Because we have people in this room that will speak tonight about the street not being swept, where the police officers, and all those basic core services that we need. So we've got to figure out what we can do differently. And we have a couple options that are in front of us. First of all, we've done a few things, but and it's helped soften this, but I don't want to suggest any of this is soft. We are part of central dispatch of the county. That was something we didn't have 4 years ago. That saved $225,000 in the first year. We joined the EMS service to get better service and save a little bit of money in taxes. Our ambulance people have done a very good job, but it wasn't working as well as just couldn't do it with volunteers. We have people retiring coming out, possibly as many as 3 positions. We're going to look to combine those. We're going to look to not fill those, but we're not certain what that means yet. We're also talking to the county about some additional services, laying off to them a possibility. We're talking to our neighbors about sharing some services, and we've got to do all this in this next couple of months as we prepare for next year's budget. But I'm optimistic, and I say this because I feel comfortable saying this, that we will do better in state aid. We will get some help. Now, speaking, I don't intend to speak for the county or the school board. It's not our area. It's not the governing body's area. But I had a direct conversation with Commissioner Lucille Davies, who's Commissioner of Education, about the school system and their money, because it's a big chunk of this, as you can tell. And with the school funding formula, will there be an adjustment with the loss of this tax base? And she tells me she believes there will be. So that will help us in that portion of the tax bill, which is considerable. Do we get it all back? I don't know that we get it all back. But the idea is what happens going forward. Now, from our standpoint, we're in the timing game here. We're 4, 5 years away on the court, depending how the economy goes, how the permitting process goes. And there will be, by the way, if you keep your eye on your mailboxes and newspaper, there will be a town meeting coming up on an update on the court regarding where it stands in design, where it stands in permitting, and where it stands in timetable. And we still stand at a 4-year range, give or take, with relation to the port. The port is our big item. But we want to get some back from ExxonMobil, because what's happened here is not fair and it's not easy. And I don't make this presentation to you tonight trying to convince you that what happened is right, that it's fair, that it's easy. I don't think it's right, although it's technically right. I don't think it's fair, because this is an industrial entity that's been a good neighbor. It provides a good job. We like them. They've been here a long time in both the entity of Mobil and now with ExxonMobil. And I want to say loud and clear for everybody here, this is not driven by the local people in the plant. Those employees are our neighbors. The plant manager, not a bad guy. This is on their part, was a corporate decision made in Texas, not made here. They simply look and they say, we can save $600,000, $800,000. You can add that to the $11 billion they made last quarter. But they made that decision, and they're entitled to it, and it's not fair, and it hurts us. And the phone calls I've gotten from the few people that have called, taken time to talk, are very painful to take. And I'm not trying to convince any of you that what has happened here is right, and it's fair, and it's easy. It's not easy, it's hard. It's going to place a burden on many of our residents that can't afford it. But it's a fact of life. And we have to, from our standpoint, we've got to look forward. This governing body, the people you see sitting here, we all get tax bills. Now, let's get a break on tax bills. Now, let's get treated differently. The budget passed with a unanimous vote because we didn't have a choice. Everybody held their nose because we didn't have a choice. And we still have a police department. And we couldn't make up in this very short time what happened. It's like a perfect storm of timing. And that's unfortunately the background on what happened there. So before we open the floor, just a reminder, especially for senior citizens. If you're a senior citizen, you have a chance, if you're not on it, for the property tax freeze. Now, I know a couple of seniors are in the room because I talked to them. They're on the program and have to struggle to pay the taxes because it requires you to pay them, and then you get the money back. So seniors get their property, their homestead rebate, $1,200, plus depending how long you've been on the program, if you've been on 2 years, all this increase you get back. Problem is you don't get it back right away. You got to pay it. Then the state gives it back to you. It's awkward and it causes a struggle. So I don't want anyone to think in this room to think that that isn't sensed, and we feel it, But you see it as the structure of this budget, the options are going to be a challenge as well. So we've got to play for time. There's good news coming. The problem is it can't get here fast enough, and we're struggling with this in the short term, and we still have 2 more years of this, because this is going to feather in. We have another hit coming next year. We have 2 hits that we have to work through. We have to work through the fact that DEP has been making payments on the site, as well as the port. One of those is going to fall off this year, so we've got a shortfall there. We are looking, by the way, I forgot to mention, we talked about positions, what we're going to try and do. The administrator is busy working on renegotiating on our health care costs to see if we can get some savings there. We think we can get some savings. We think we can do a little bit better there. And we're working on all of those. So as we come to this budget cycle, which we're going to do more rapidly this year, we'll have a better picture of where we are probably February. That's how the next year is going to play out. That being said, that gives you the background of how we got where we are. And by the way, in all this process, we still try to maintain a sound fiscal ship, but the struggle on a household is just difficult. So that being said, I'm happy to open up the floor. Not happy, but I have a sense of what this meeting is, and we need to talk about it. So who'd like to go first? Let's do taxes first, and I know there's going to be some stuff following underneath. Yes, sir. Please come forward. We need your name and address when you come to the microphone.
Patrick W. Schubert Sr.
Bear with me a second, please. You've got to turn the mic on.
It's all right, I can speak up, sir.
No, we have to, for the record, we've got to turn it on. Just let's see.
Yeah. Name's Patrick W. Schubert Sr. I live at 117 East Washington Street in Paulsboro. I'd like to know if the listing of the legal fees includes the eminent domain defense.
It probably does.
No, does it or doesn't it?
I said it probably does. It does not, no, John's telling me it's not that mixed. That's done. Who's next? Please, don't, folks, you're welcome to speak. I know, we're like at a dead end. Kim, go ahead.
Kim Sabetta, 341 Beacon Avenue. On the tax, what are the future? What is the phasing? Is it another 20 cents? Is it 15 cents? What is the phasing over the next few years?
Then we're going to get that for you. We have that. It's going to go on. John, you have it too. Go, John, what's spread? Jim, I'll get that for you.
You negotiate a settlement that takes us 2 more steps, correct?
That's right. Well, I'll get the exact, just don't have my fingertips. The answer is yes. It's not as dramatic as this year, but it continues over the next few years.
And what for a life of me, I can't understand. In 1991, I testified before the Assembly Committee and the Senate Committee on that bill. It was a bad bill. You can Google my name, you'll see it come up on the Wall Street Journal, that it was bad. I fought the administration then, and the Assembly and the Senate and the governor have not changed one word of that. That is the biggest giveaway the state of New Jersey ever gave to anybody. And as sitting Assembly member and all, I think it behooves you to change that bill. Because you see the impact what it did. I said in 1991, and I was, the people there are now congressmen and all, have scrambled up, they're telling me, you don't know what you're talking about. This was the worst bill that they did for any economic situation in the country. Because all it hurt was the little people in the little towns. And to come up with a situation now that plant was built, they spent $40-some million brick and mortar buying the build out. I understand the settlement is based on it's not worth that now. Well, I built my house 25 years ago. I paid $39 for a yard of concrete. Today, that same yard of concrete is $160. So how can you say that brick and mortar is less now than what it was 20-some years ago, well, when the roof plant 10 years ago? I mean, that to me opens the door for any taxpayer at all to come in and say, I want to appeal my taxes, because if that warehouse now is devalued because brick and mortar and copper and steel are worth less, they say, then why doesn't it pertain to my home? Why is my home now worth less because of their same definition? I don't agree with it. But that's the definition that was settled upon, that their worth is not there, or that their robots can't run as fast and are obsolete. Anybody owns a business. You have to spend more money in your business to keep it going. They come back and say it's up to the taxpayers of Paulsboro to subsidize ExxonMobil is a disgrace.